Do you often feel let down by others? Do you find it really difficult to be single? Or are you in a relationship, but you're the one putting in most of the work? Do you feel excessively dependent on validation and reassurance from other people, especially a romantic partner? If you've said yes to any of these questions, you might have an anxious attachment style, or traces of it. Stay tuned to check yourself against more signs. Hi everyone, welcome to Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. I'm Maika, I'm a psychologist, and an attachment style is the way someone shows up in relationships. Any relationship, but especially romantic ones. There's 4 types, one that's secure called the secure attachment style, and 3 that are insecure called anxious, avoidant, and disorganized attachment. These are patterns we learn in childhood and often continue to function from as adults, but we can work on changing them to develop the secure attachment style. Next, I'll share 10 signs you may be anxiously attached. You don't have to resonate with all of them to identify yourself as currently having an anxious attachment style. Number 1, you have no or too few deal breakers. You're willing to expose yourself to unhealthy, maybe even toxic behavior from others, as long as that means they'll give you attention or be in a relationship with you. The thought of having deal breakers or formulating important qualities you're looking for in a partner scares you. It makes you feel like that wouldn't work, like you're asking for too much. Number 2, you crave for more time for togetherness than your partner. And you also crave more emotional closeness than your partner. Partly this is because, in all likelihood, you experienced some form of abandonment in your past, and this is an old, lifelong yearning that you finally want to fulfill. And partly it's because being close to your partner makes you feel safe. It's a way to regulate your nervous system. Another reason is that people with an anxious attachment style are often drawn to people with an avoidant attachment style. And when these two come together, there's an inbuilt mismatch of togetherness cravings. For as long as they haven't developed more of a secure attachment style that goes beyond the kind of differences that are very easily resolved. Number 3, you're often the one more willing to work on relationship problems. You read books, take online courses, go to therapy, and more. You try out some of the things you've learned in your relationship. And while you're doing all of that, you see your partner doing little or none of these things. Your partner seems to be unbothered by the state of your relationship and or unwilling to work on it. Number 4, you can get preoccupied with your relationship. Especially when things aren't going well, you find it really hard to stop thinking about your relationship and partner. You analyze every little detail of your interactions. You ruminate about what's going on. You think of ways to get your partner's attention and then wonder if you're being too much. You test your partner's affection and commitment. You come up with more and more rules for the relationship to help you feel safe, like how much time it is okay to let go by before a text needs to be answered. Number 5, you have excessively high hopes for what you can get out of a relationship. You feel like the only thing that's keeping you from being fully happy, satisfied, and fulfilled is a romantic relationship if you're single, or a major improvement in your relationship if you're with someone. The main key to happiness for you lies in romantic love, and this can be more or less conscious. It can also be more of a subconscious sense or feeling, something that you might not even subscribe to if you really think about it. You feel like 99% of your problems would be solved by a relationship, and that without romantic love, you're lost. You love escaping into fantasies about what it would be like to be in a perfect relationship. Number 6, you often feel let down by others. While avoidantly attached people often struggle with opening themselves up to discussing and valuing emotions, anxiously attached people sometimes struggle with seeing how they're contributing to the problems in their relationships. the anxiously attached can be very other-focused. They focus on others to help them feel good, and when they don't, they also focus on others as the reason for that. In their view, because they're doing all this work on the relationship, and their partner isn't, their partner is the problem. If only their partner would change, the relationship could work. Often, though, the way the anxiously attached partner is working on the relationship is unintentionally ineffective and part of the problem. Number 7, you criticize your partner a lot. In a secure relationship, for every negative remark, the couple exchanges 3 positive ones. For you, the ratio might be very different, tipped towards criticism and negative remarks. It makes sense because in the worldview of the anxiously attached person, the problem in the relationship is that their partner isn't changing. So they'll try to use criticism as a means to get their partner to understand that and become more proactive in the relationship. If we just focus on the anxious attachment style, which is what we're doing in this video, it often goes along with a focus on the negative and having difficulties noticing and relishing the love and care your partner does show. So if you've recognized yourself in this, you've probably noticed that sometimes your partner can do 10 things that express love for you, and then they forget to do one other thing or say one other thing, or they'll make one remark that's a bit off. And you can be very quick to switch into a panicky mode of concluding, here it is again, they don't love me. Number 8, you're anxious, you might get emotionally and or physically abandoned. The thought of being alone can make you feel quite desperate. You're frustrated when you don't get the attention or validation you need. You're afraid that the people in your life might abandon you, either because they leave or because they won't show up for you consistently and abandon you emotionally. Of course, there is an explanation for these fears. No one is born with relationship anxiety. It's something that develops based on the experiences you've made in life. Number 9, you often feel needy, desperate for love, attention, reassurance, and validation. And from this neediness, you might say or do things that you and or your partner experience as clingy or too demanding. You ask for reassurance that they love you, that they're attracted to you, but when that reassurance comes, the relief it brings doesn't last very long. In connection to this, it's important to remember that having needs is human, natural, and healthy, and the solution is not to try and turn off your needs. I'll post another video soon on healing an anxious attachment style. For now, part of the solution is to learn a greater variety of taking care of your needs so it doesn't all fall into your romantic relationship. Number 10, you struggle to feel lovable and good enough. At the core of every insecure attachment style, you'll find insecurities the person has about themselves. You'll find low self-esteem and shame. You'll find fears of not being lovable or worthy of love. Anxiously attached people try to cope with this insecurity by becoming preoccupied with their relationships, getting validation and reassurance from their partner to feel safe and loved, avoiding authenticity, fearing rejection, being overly submissive to try and keep their partner happy, and or trying to feel better by getting their partner to change. People who are anxiously attached are codependent. They depend excessively on specific behavior from their partner to feel good in themselves and about themselves. To them, their worth is defined by other people. And this creates an ambivalent mood of craving reassurance on the one hand, and on the other hand, being angry at others for supposedly having that much power over them. With that, I've come to the end of this video. Don't be too hard on yourself if you've recognized yourself in this attachment style. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with you. You just haven't learned how to interact with others and yourself in a secure way yet, which is something you absolutely can. An anxious attachment style is a dysfunctional coping mechanism, nothing more. It's not what makes you you on a fundamental level. And when you change the way you think about and act on your emotions, you can change your attachment style. Also, of course, Just because someone criticizes their partner a lot doesn't mean that they don't have any reason to, or that when they stop, all problems will be solved. Or if you have strong cravings for emotional support and connection, that doesn't mean you should learn to live without human connection. Attachment styles always play out in the context of a relationship, and people with insecure attachment often end up together. So it's likely your partner actually does a lot of things that invalidate you. What's important is to recognize ineffective ways of trying to improve a relationship so you can find better ways that actually work. All the best for that. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to let the algorithm know you want to see more of my videos if that's the case. Till next time, take care. And remember, an attachment style is learned behavior in relationships that can be changed. It's not part of your personality.